Hello and welcome to your world-class Helix ITSM platform again. Today we would talk about an important function of the service desk, which is to diagnose problems which are happening in the environment, log them as incidents, and acting upon those incidents if they need to affect a change upon a component of the data center or an application or a service, they need to raise a change request. Now, why is a change request necessary? It's that governing, governing control which determines what is going to be the effect of this change and what is going to be the extent of this change. How will it impact the service and delivery to the end users? And what changes will be recorded under it. Yes. So let's try to understand change management as a practice in a live environment. I have my ticket console here. I'm logged in as the service desk executive. I am from the network team. So I'm looking at the bunch of tickets that have come my way. One of them catches my attention. This is around a VPN issue. I click upon it. And I find that a customer called as Implement was reported a VPN issue, and he has described it as a problem where he cannot connect to broadband. Okay, so we've captured his plain description, but the incident has been correctly logged as a VPN issue. So I take a look at this issue. I am attending to this ticket. I want to understand what resources are available to me to address this problem that Implement is facing. So I click on the resources tab and it starts to load. I find that there is an outage which is happening in the northern region. Maybe this is perhaps the reason why Implement is also not able to access the corporate application. I see there is some recommended knowledge here which I can look up, and some tickets that have been logged for a similar problem in the past. Well, a few of those tickets have been addressed by me, and I remember very clearly there is a network device which is notorious for causing this problem in my organization. And usually what happens is there is some ACL change on the access control list which revokes some permissions for access. So I know that the VPN service may be affected because of some wrongly configured ACL on the network device. So one of the provisions which is available to me is to connect this incident with a change request. This is going to be a major change on the network device if we want to change the ACL, which will then affect the VPN service. So I think I need to log a change request for it. So I go to the related items tab and I want to create a related change request with it. I click on that. And immediately the change management dashboard loads up. It says, well, you are ready to go. Let's get you started on a change from a scratch. You can either use a template here. So if you have some common changes, you can look them up in a template window here, or you can start a change from a scratch, which is what we will do now. We click that and my change dashboard tells me you need to pick one of the change types here which best represents your case. I know that there has been a VPN outage in the northern region, and maybe this a wrongly configured ACL may be causing this massive outage too. I see that I could do a normal change, but that will probably take a week to effect. I think what I want to do is an emergency change, which I can perhaps perform by tonight. That would alleviate this outage and this particular problem for re-implement. So I choose emergency. The minute I do that, I am taken into the create change request wizard, which is a 5-step wizard that takes me through the various steps of logging the change. The first step is basics, which helps me classify and category a change in a standard format for consistency. So I see that a lot of fields here have been pre-populated out of the incident that we had related to this change. This really helps me because I'm not required to then fill out all of these fields manually by myself. Basis the category information that I choose, change coordinators are assigned. If I want to assign a specific change manager, I can do that here, or I can assign this to myself. Okay. I can also pick up impacted areas to say what regions are going to be affected. So I say that Americas certainly, and the organization is going to be information technology, and the site is going to be BMC Houston, and I'm going to add that information in here. Okay. This wizard at all times is doing validation checks. It's checking whether all the fields have been entered or not. Yeah. So I go to the next step. The next step is around adding CI information. Let's go there. I'm taken to a quick search window where all CIs that relate to this change need to be attached. I know that because of the change on the network device, I think that the corporate VPN service is going to be affected. So I type in a partial string match for corporate VPN and I say search. The search will go into the CMDB and will find out any affected service. Yeah, it's done that. It's found out one CI. I can click on the view CI and I find that the corporate VPN service has been configured in the CMDB and I know this is the one which is going to be affected as a related impacted item. The minute I do that, I have to relate this CI to the change. I click on relate selected and I'm going to choose the relationship impact, but because when I make the ACL change, the VPN service is going to be affected. So I choose impact and then I go into the next step. Once my CIs are quoted, the next step is to assign change dates and times to this emergency change. I can either go into a scheduled and actual stage, or I can specify that well, I don't care when this change is performed, but I am looking at a target of tomorrow for this and I need this done by 12 a.m. Okay. Now on the right hand side, I can see that there is a change calendar which says that your CRQ can possibly stand to affect other related changes to the corporate VPN service. But for now, my calendar looks clean and I don't think there are any business events, outages or changes affecting my change because I want this for September 2. and September 2 is all clean. There are no changes scheduled for that day. This looks good. Let's go to the next step. The next step is assigning risk. This is an emergency change, and yes, this will need to be done during business hours, so I will choose yes. We've performed this change a couple of times, but I think less than 5 times. We have tested this in production in the past, but we've not tested for this change. So we're going to say that we've not tested this change for this particular RFC before. So we will select that. And we know this change can be rolled back easily. So we will select yes here. That's it. I am now ready to go to the next step, which is to document any business justification or document any of the document my backout plan if it is necessary to roll back. And once I select these, I can go and upload these from my repository, but right now I don't want to do that. So I say submit change. I get an advisory that you are done with your change, and if you want, you can do an impact analysis right now. So the system will automatically determine if this change is going to affect components and what will that impact look like in a map. Or you can submit this without an impact analysis. I choose that because I can also do impact analysis at any later point in time too. The minute I do that, my system goes about organizing all the artifacts for this change that it has recorded. And drafts a change request. If I look at this change, I can see that it is classified at risk level 4. It is high in terms of performing the risk, but I'm good with that. And I can view all the risk assessment here. The next step is if I can go into the planning, and then I can execute this change, or I can cancel this change if anytime during the course of recording this change we get an advisory that this change is too risky to be performed in business hours. I have complete control of organizing this change from here. So this is how, ladies and gentlemen, you can record a change and affect various stages of the workflow of a change from an incident and create these connections for effective incident management and governing change management processes. Thank you for your time, and we would look for your input in the comment section below.